slides, you just go to Chrome.
Great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our production mastery of Thursday. We're always on time, right at 11:30. This week we have Mr. Sohail Farahmand. He's gonna go over our online lead mastery and conversion, which is practically one of the biggest pain points for every agent to understand and what to do. So come with your questions. Let's go. We have Sohail here, and he's gonna have a session with us. Sohail, you're on.
Taking over. We'll be with you in just 1 second. Yeah, exactly. So that we can see the zoom and then a little bit of this. There we go. Sorry, I'm a little disabled around Macs, so excuse my tech challenges here. Okay, all right. Should do it. This should do it. There we go. Hello, everyone.
All right, let's do this.
We have a whole group online. More people joining. Okay, maybe we'll give it a second for everyone to come in. This meeting is being recorded. Okay. All right. So we're gathered here today to discuss. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Ada. Online leads. Sorry. We're okay. Now we're good. All right. So let me just face it this way. This is your computer, Leo, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I think Leo here could use some tech tutorials on how to use a Mac efficiently.
My first time.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So we're here today to talk about online leads. In fact, what I did was, because this is such a popular topic, it's such an important topic. Why is it important? Because it can make us a lot of money. It could get us a lot of business. And for that reason, I split it into 2 sessions. Some of you submitted questions ahead of time on the questions document. That was very good. There were some really good questions in there. So what I've done is I won't actually go through those questions one by one, but I've integrated answers to those questions. I've included answers to those questions in the content that we're going to go through together. Okay. So now, if you don't hear your answers today, it's possible that they will be for the next session. We're going to do half session today and then another half session next week, next Thursday. So there'll be a 2-part kind of workshop. And then along the way, I'll have some questions for you all, so that we can make this interactive and fun. But what's really important is that we're all here to talk about how do we get business from online leads. Just a quick background on this. I've been working on online leads, and I really, frankly, early days, about 5-6 years ago, when I really started thinking about real estate as a business as opposed to just a side gig. That's when I jumped into online leads. Why did I jump into online leads? The opportunity presented itself, so there was a little bit of luck, but also I didn't have time. I had other full-time obligations, and I had to be very efficient with how I use my time. So online leads were a really good way for me to get new leads every day, be able to set aside an hour a day. That was it, actually, an hour a day that I was putting aside to make phone calls. Obviously, within other times during the day, I was texting and everything as well, but just an hour dedicated to making phone calls at lunchtime every day. And that's how it started for me. For the past 5 years, I have, come on in. Oh, hey, Ellie, that's all right. Take a seat.
There.
Thanks for joining us. So fast forward 5 years, on a yearly basis, I've made, I would say, at least 8 to 10 times the amount of money I've spent on generating online leads every year. That's just within a year of receiving that lead. I've had many leads that transacted with me multiple times. I've had many leads that referred multiple transactions to me as well as their own. I've had many leads that came back to me 2-3 years after signing up. 2-3 years. Frankly, I didn't even know some of them were on my system. They were just being nurtured through drip campaigns, through listing emails and listing update emails, and then boom, like suddenly I hear from them and we get them across that finish line. So just a little bit of background on me and why This is so dear to me, and why I truly believe that everyone, if you're not doing online leads right now, if you're not making the most of it right now, and we'll go through some of the benchmarks, why all of us could really benefit from it and could make a lot of money helping people that are looking online. Okay? Hope this all makes sense so far. Just a quick little bit of preface to what we're going to do. So, okay, so what are we going to do today in session one? Before I go on further, just a quick check-in. Everyone can hear me? Everyone can see me? Yeah? Okay, awesome. If you have questions along the way, if you drop a message or you want to raise a hand, Axel, I think, is monitoring that, so Axel can help. Thank you, Axel. Okay, so what are we gonna be talking about today in session one? Understanding the mindset and behavior of online leads. Why are they signing up? How are they thinking? What are some benchmarks for converting them? For basically getting us geared up to know what to expect, so that we could perform really well with them. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, learning how to communicate, how to time yourself when it comes to online leads. Some of this applies across the board to other types of leads as well. You get a referral, you jump on it right away. Same thing with an online lead. But some of it might be a little more sensitive with online leads, because chances are they're at the same time as looking on your website or the website where you're getting leads from. They're signing up on 5 other websites as well. And guess who's going to win that lead, right? The one that's obviously quickest to act and quickest to present value, right? Those are 2 things that we're going to talk about as well. And then building habits for consistent follow-ups and conversions. We'll talk about all of this. And again, if any questions along the way, let me know. This is not the point of this isn't to go through a slide deck. The point of it is to really be practical, as you all, anyone who's met me and anyone who knows me knows that I am super practical. I don't give a lot of generally don't talk in averages and kind of a lot of anecdotal stuff. I'm all about facts. I'm all about being pragmatic and doing things that work, taking action on things that work. So with that, I have a question for you, actually. Raise your hand if you're online or in the room. How many of you have closed at least one online lead this year? Let's say since January. Leo, what was the biggest challenge, Leo? What was that experience like? Can you take us through it?
I'd say to build rapport with these leads, because they don't know you yet. So I think in the first conversations, you need to understand what are their motivation, their timeline, and try to book at least the first appointment to visit the property together. Because when you're in person with this lead, you are more able to build rapport, right? To create this kind of interaction between you and that lead, and you can create some kind of credibility and authority as well.
For sure, yeah. So Leo's, just to summarize that, Leo's biggest challenges, or really number one biggest challenge, is building rapport on the phone.
Yeah.
With someone you've never met before. They don't have any reason to trust you when they've signed up on your website. Sometimes they don't even expect a call from you, right? They don't expect to hear from anyone at all. In fact, they might be annoyed to hear from you.
And they might forget your name in 2 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah, on the spot. Like as you introduce yourself, a lot of times they don't know your name. So many online lead conversations end with, "Oh, what was your name, by the way?" After they've started trusting you, they might ask your name. It's a good sign if they ask your name, by the way. Michael, you raised your hand as well.
Yeah,
Did you?
They found me.
They found you?
Yeah.
Who found you?
So it's online lead. It was through Chinese social media.
Okay.
Yeah, so this, they saw our content, saw my market update. They were happy with what they see. They
Amazing.
reach out, ask question, and come to initial close.
Amazing. And Michael, what was the challenge? What was the big challenge along the way? Or what was your biggest challenge? This sounds like a warm lead. If it's incoming, it sounds like
incoming is always easier.
Yeah.
It's whether they see the number makes sense to them or not.
Yeah.
And if the number makes sense, then it
So this was the seller lead?
it turns out to be a seller lead. Yeah.
Turned out to be a seller lead.
And potential future buyer lead as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest hurdle that you were facing with them before you closed on that deal?
Generally speaking, with online lead, like you and Dio shared before, is how to get a hold of him.
How to
Right.
get a hold of them, for sure.
That's always the hurdle, right? So
For sure. Yeah.
even though you are quick to respond when they first come in, they may not pick up the phone.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah,
So that happened before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So building rapport, and before that, even just reaching them. And those are really great points. We're gonna actually get into both of those as well. So let's talk about the typical kind of phases for anyone looking to buy real estate, right? Let's talk about buyer leads for now, right? It could be buyers or sellers, but let's talk about buyers for now, because a lot of online leads are buyer leads, and buyer leads are actually very good ones. I've cut it down to 5 phases. They're exploring. Then once they've explored, they look into their financing. Then they start their active search. They start offer negotiation, and then closing and possession and all of that. Okay, 5 phases, right? Any buyer, you could fit it within one of these phases. Some of those phases might overlap depending on what type of person they are and how they go about things, but that is it. Typically in that order. Guess where most online leads are? And if you exploring phase. When someone starts exploring, how far are they usually from actually going through with the transaction? And this is just market benchmarks and stats, but 6 to 18 months, right? So if you're getting into this online lead game thinking I'm going to close someone within a week, you're wrong, right? Most likely you're wrong. You may get lucky, but most likely you're mistaken. And if you have that expectation and mindset up front, guess what? In a week, in a month, in 2 months, you're going to be discouraged. Oh, I've wasted $1,000 on leads for 2 months. This is not working out. I'm going to drop it. And that's usually when you were about to close someone. Yes, Axel.
We have Ashton. Ashton, if you want to go off mute and ask a question right there so you can give more details in there, please. He says, any leads format? I don't get it, but I'm sure Ashton can come in and explain more. Any leads format, picture of a house and a text. What is the text? Ashton, can you speak up?
Can you hear me?
Okay, so he has no
Ashton-
speaker. You can type in if you want, and I can read it out if you want, Ashton.
Okay, all right. We'll leave it there, and then we'll get back to that, Axel.
You got it. Yeah, keep going, and I'll
Awesome.
manage it with Ashton behind the scenes.
Awesome.
You got it.
So Michael said something really.
Ashton asked any lead format, picture, house. What's the text?
Michael, we were just talking about that. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of these.
Yeah. Okay. So Michael mentioned something a very good point. They're hard to reach. Sure. Yeah. I mean, if I sign up somewhere and I'm just exploring, chances are I get an unknown number calling me. I might not respond to it, right? If I'm looking for a plumber because I have a leak in my garage, I go online, I look up 5 different plumbers, I call every one of them. The first one that answers my call is the most likely one to get the business, right? Because I'm ready to go. But if I'm just exploring, maybe doing some plumbing upgrades for my home, I'm going to move a lot slower. I might email someone and then 5 days later, email someone else, give someone a call, leave them a voicemail, maybe 3 days later, give them another call, right? This is an example, but it's the same applies for any other trade. When people are looking for professionals, this is kind of the decision-making cycle. So benchmark says 10 to 15% average response rate. If you get 10 to 15% response, your lead source is good, right? That's one of the ways I qualify different online lead generation systems that I've worked with, is if I can get 10 to 15 people to actually just pick up. They might swear at me, they might tell me to fuck off, they might say don't message me again. That's still a response, right? So that's all you need is 10, 15%. Again, if you talking about going back to the mindset, if you're expecting that out of every 20 people that you call, 10 of them are going to actually pick up on you, guess what? You're wrong. You're probably wrong. You might get lucky, but you can't expect that. If you expect that and you go into that with that mindset, you're probably not going not going to be very happy. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to get off that lead gen, right? And it was on you, right? It wasn't because of the source.
Usually takes at least 3 months for the pixel, at least Meta Pixel and Google Pixel to adjust, and your ad
Sure.
starts running well.
For sure,
Right?
yeah.
So in the first 3-4 months, you cannot expect a lot
That is,
of leads and quality and quantity of leads. So if you don't have the budget for at least 6 months, don't even try it, right?
that is correct. There are other ways. There are other ways. There are agents like myself that have had the same kind of ads been running for 5 years. It's been fine-tuned. It's really good response rate, right? We have our own team leads. Those ads have been running for a very long time. They get good hit rates. They get really good. Yeah, it's trained basically the model, but Leo's very correct. This response rate could be impacted, or the number of leads you get could get impacted by how long you've been doing it consistently on the different platforms. So let's say if it's Google models need to learn what you're looking for and learn your ads, and then you get better lead generation, better numbers. But the response rate is still going to be that. Like you get 100 leads in a month, you can expect to have 10 to 15 conversations, okay? Or 10 to 15 responses, messages back or whatever. And then you can expect a 1 to 3% conversion rate. So 1 to 3 out of every 100 are going to close. And they're going to close within the next 6 to 18 months. Folks, this is a numbers game, right? And these are not big numbers. But if you get, let's say you're spending $1,000 a month on your leads, on getting leads from some source. $1,000 a month in ad spend. Let's say there's some management fees. Let's say you're actually spending $300 in management fees and $700 in ad spend, right? That with good ads, that's probably going to get you 60 to 70 leads a month. Okay. So it's very likely that in your first month, even if everything is good, you're not going to convert anything. It's pretty likely. Like there's a 30% chance that that's going to happen, right? That to me is fairly likely, actually. So again, mindset is so important when working online leads. You got to believe that it's going to work because there are others that have been doing it and it's been working for them. Believe that with a bit of blind faith and keep working at it, consistently working at it until you get the results. Now, along the way, there are other things that we're going to talk about that you can improve to improve your chances. I can share with you that my conversion rate on my main source of leads is actually closer to 4%, right? I've been doing it for 5 years. It's for a long time, it was the only source of business for me really were online leads, right? I was just doing business based on online leads. And I've converted them in as little as 3 to 4 days, right? Multiple leads that I've converted in 3 to 4 days. It's just training your mind and learning how to do it, what to say, when to say it, how to say it, so that you can improve that. But don't, if you're newer to it, or if you haven't done this for a very long time, you can expect some of the lower ends of this, and know that you're going to get a return for it. Okay. Hopefully, I'm setting a really low bar, really low expectations, but know that the upside is huge, right? So you're spending $12,000. A single transaction is going to get you that money back. So all you need within a year is one transaction, and it will have paid for itself. But if you're getting 60, 70 leads a month based on these numbers and based on your average paycheck, you're very likely to do 10 times more than you're spending. Okay, 100 to 120K you could expect to get back within the first year. Okay. 6 to 18 months, we said, right? So let's say we average that at 12 months and you get a 2% conversion. Okay. Do we have a question now from Ashton?
Facebook or Google.
Which one to use? Yeah, Ashton, that could be a personal preference. I personally am not a big fan of Facebook or Instagram ads, but it really depends how the ad is run. We're doing Facebook, Instagram ads for seller leads, and those are performing really well. We already took a listing, sold it 5 days later, and that's done. I'm talking to a gentleman today that I might list another 3 properties for.
Yeah, I totally agree with Sohail in there. And when it comes to the lead sources, whether it's Facebook or PPC on Google, you need to understand what's your motivation of what type of audience you want to target. Now, who can answer me in here? Say it out loud. Who's mostly on Facebook right now in terms of demographic? Go ahead, off mute. Go ahead in the class. Just say it. Who's on Facebook in today's market in terms of demographic?
Seniors being 45 plus.
I wouldn't call it seniors. I would say the people with money that owns home right now, isn't it? So those typing age right now, they are not on TikTok dancing. They are on Facebook and kept that platform to themselves, while the younger generation moved on to other platforms like Instagram or TikTok. But the remaining of that is, if you're targeting sellers, Facebook would be the ideal way to go. If you're looking for buyers, of course, PPC, it would be more motivated buyers that they are actually searching or researching an answer to find. And now with AI, it's just changed the entire thing right now by AI answering the questions rather than satisfy their search. So you need to be also answering questions in order to index yourself in those AI such as ChatGPT. But that's a different topic. So hold back to you. Go for it.
Thank you, Axel. But yes, so it really depends on who you're targeting, who you want to go after, and based on the type of lead you want to get. For myself personally, Google ads have performed really well in the past 5 years, and I just have no reason to stop it. I'm adding to that, right? I'm tapping into different sources, and with Axel, we're tapping into different sources for online leads. But Google ads have performed really well because people that generally Google stuff have a little bit of intention. They've thought about, oh, I want to move, I want to buy something, I want to see how the market is, etc. They have some intention. They go in there and type it up. They look for it actively. And generally speaking, on Facebook or Instagram, it's more impulse buying or impulse kind of reactions. But really depends. So both can perform well. Again, it's a numbers game, and some of these averages. These averages are mostly based on Google ads, or at least in my experience. If you're doing social media ads, then you might expect lower conversion. You might expect to have a better response rate, even maybe, but lower conversion. So you just need more leads to be able to satisfy the numbers that you're after. Okay, the number of transactions you're after.
Okay. So I know we have a lot of topic to cover, and that's why we have Sohail in 2 sessions with us for this week and the following week also. And there are so much to cover when it comes to online lead, and it's a vast conversation. We have Ashton raised his hand. I think his speaker is working. So why don't you go off the mute and ask your question, Ashton?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, speaker is working now. What do you put on your Google ad? Like, click here to get the list of homes in Burnaby under 800?
Can I be honest with you, Ashton? I have no idea. I have a company that manages my ads. That's not my bit. I tried doing it a few years ago. I tried doing it myself, and I didn't get the results I wanted because that's not my business. My business is not creating and optimizing Google ads. So if you're trying to do it yourself, I would, like, if I were you, I'd do some research and figure out what's going to work better. But it's not my domain of expertise. I don't know what they put in the ads, frankly. They put a bunch of keywords. Maybe someone else is more educated, but that's also not the point of this. The point of this is, as a real estate agent, when you have the lead, how do you work them to convert them? Okay. But I would highly recommend, and I can refer you to companies that work really well for setting up your ads and managing them. It's definitely been worth the investment for me. Absolutely. Okay. Cool. But very good question. A very good question. So I guess I'll skip that question that I had and we'll move on. So new versus old leads. This is a topic that's come up. I believe it was in the questions as well. It's very easy to get discouraged and not call old leads. I can share with you that those numbers that we went through based on experience, the numbers that we went through, the 1 to 3% conversion, if you have a database of leads right now, if you have a database of people that have searched for homes in the past year, in the past 2 years, 3 years, you go through 100 of them, I could pretty much guarantee you that you're still going to get the 1 to 3% conversion. Okay. This might seem unrealistic, but those are the numbers. Those have been the numbers in my experience. Any time in the past that I've run out of business or my pipeline was drying up, all I do, and now I know that I can just do this. It feels very empowering to know that I can just do this. I just sit at my computer, sit at my desk, and I start making phone calls to old leads, to dormant leads, or whatever you want to call them. And guess what? A few of them have already bought or sold. So I get hit with that news and I kick myself. I'm like, oh, I wish I'd followed up with this person sooner. But for all of those, there are also those that the 1 to 3% that are like, you know what? It's so interesting. You just called me. We're actually still looking and we're closer to making a purchase, or, we're actually actively looking. This has happened so many times. I've got listing leads this way, listing and buyer from the same lead this way, and I've got buyer leads this way. It's just sitting down at your desk. Honestly, that's all it takes. Sit at your desk, or wherever you're comfortable making your prospecting calls, and just go through the list. It's a numbers game. One doesn't pick up, you move on to the next one. One has just bought or sold, you hang up, shout some profanities or whatever, as I would do, and then move on to the next one. Literally, that's it. There's no emotions attached to this. You're there to do 100 calls and convert 1 to 3% of that 100. Okay, and I can guarantee you that if you did that, you could achieve the numbers. Okay.
Golden. I want to share something in here because this is under the scrutiny in a way. Many agents are thinking that, oh my God, I need to receive 20 leads a day, or I need to receive 3 leads a day minimum in order to keep my pipeline going. And the very old question of whether the old leads are better or whether the new leads that comes into systems are better. I want you guys to understand that expectation that Sohail just mentioned in there. The expectation is not expecting to close them right away. It's to build a relationship with them right away. That's your expectation. And when that is set, the next level would be the industry average. Industry average, the online leads are converting somewhere from 6 months to 18 months, guys, even longer than that. A few months ago, Sohail came into our chat and said, I just started working with this lead that came into my system 3 years ago. So he was nurturing that lead on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis, or whatever he was doing on those touch points, to a point that that lead was not ghosting him. He or she was not ready to be purchasing at this time. So now after 3 years, it came to a power. The question is, since there is a long way of closing for these leads, the old leads are gold. The new leads need patience. Both are amazing. It just needs your expectation to align them. Hoping that.
Thank you, Axel. Yes. So with that, I want to just recalibrate myself. So what's the difference between old leads and new leads? New leads, you need to jump on it right away, because if you don't, if they have high intention, if they're 3-4 days from making an offer, guess what? They're going to go with the first person that calls them, the first person that can get them those strata documents, the first realtor that's going to get the appointment for them. On the way here, this morning I got a hot lead, and they wanted to set an appointment for a property. I messaged him right away. I called him right away. He didn't pick up. I messaged him right away. I left him a voicemail. I messaged the agent for the property that they wanted to see right away. I did all the right things. He just texted me on the way here. This all happened within the past 2 hours. He just texted me on the way here. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize my wife already set an appointment yesterday afternoon. So we're gonna go see the property today. I've lost that now, right? And that's okay. But someone else was quicker than I was. Now I couldn't have helped it. I got on top of it literally within seconds of him signing up. I was in touch with him, but his wife had taken action earlier yesterday. So
It's him.
what's that? I wish. Michael Sale. I don't know if sounds like a Sounds like a salesperson. But get on it right away. The point is, it's okay. Don't be discouraged. We get on it right away. We call them right away. We text them if they don't pick up. We say, hey, I'm here to help. What can I do? Right? And there are scripts. There are scripts that we practice 3 times a week at least in role play. So if you're not doing that, do it. Let's get on there. Let's practice online leads together, online buyer leads, online seller leads. And I could share lots of practical advice with you in those role play calls. But sorry, again, calibrating it again. So new leads, you call them right away. They don't pick up, you text them, hey, I try to give you a call. Actually, on the first call, I don't usually text them because I kind of want to stay anonymous until they pick up my call after a few tries. So on the first call, I don't leave a voicemail. I don't text them. I would try to call the same day if I can remember and have the time. I'll try to call the same day after working hours. Right? It might be that they were at work. They might not pick up again. I call the next day. I call the next day. I call the next day. For the first week, I call every day. Right? I say this is what we should be doing. If you expect results, if you expect the 4% and you want to make some real money, you should be doing this. If you're not doing this, you're leaving money on the table. So you call them every day for this first 7 days. After 5, 6, 7 days, if they're not picking up, you're dropping them a text message. Hey, it's Sohail here. You know, I tried calling, I tried reaching you about your home search. I haven't been able to reach you about your home search, etc., etc. In fact, all of this can be automated. So I rarely ever send a text to a lead unless they've engaged me in a text conversation. And that's all thanks to my CRM. I have a campaign set up. It has the daily text messages. It's from a different number also. They still know it's me and it's from my website, but it's from a different phone number. So when I call them,
Goes to your number.
it goes to my number. Exactly. Yeah. So all of this is set up. And for us in the Align group, guys, this is all set up. We all have this. Like, if you're not taking advantage, it's on you. If I'm not using what's already set up and all of this effort that's gone behind the online leads and the campaigns and everything, I had to set this up for myself when I started 5 years ago. I didn't have help. So let's not take for granted what we have, what Axel has set up, what the team has set up for us. I think there's so much money to be made. If you're not getting into that, do it today. Take action today. Start calling people. And then, yeah, sorry, I've kind of exhausted this, but both the kind of, in conclusion, both new leads and old leads are opportunity. If you're sitting there thinking, oh, where do I get leads? Do you have a few phone numbers you could call? Do you have some online leads you can call? If you have 100 of them, chances are you're going to get a couple of deals from it, right? At least a couple of deals from it. Some of them might be buyers and sellers, right? You're not gonna call them and set the appointment right away. You might, but that would be too high an expectation, unrealistic. But you're going to call them and see how you can help them, how you can add value. Maybe you can, we'll talk about that in a second. You can send them a search, etc., etc. So scripts and values, this is a good segue. Scripts provide structure, but must sound natural. How do we make them natural? How do they sound natural? Is practice, practice, practice. There's no other way. If you don't want to sound like someone calling from a call center, you need to practice that script. You need to practice it with other realtors. You practice it in front of the mirror. You practice it with real clients and learn from some failures. But then that becomes you. Then they can distinguish between Leo or Sohail and the script. The words will literally roll off your tongue. I've said this so many times in role play. When I say certain lines, I say them word for word every single time the same way, and it just rolls off my tongue. I don't have to remember anything. Okay? When are you planning on moving? That's one of those lines. When are you planning on moving? I don't have to think about this. I'm talking to someone. It's a friend of mine. It's a I don't know, a kid's parents at school. It's Leo. When are you planning on moving, Leo? It just rolls off your tongue, and that comes with practice. When you make the first call, we already talked about this. When you're on that first call, the Leo brought up a point, and that ties into this exactly. That the most difficult thing for Leo was to build rapport. When you call an online lead, I'll give you an example. My website is non-branded. There's no branding on it. If you scroll down far enough, you'll see Sohail Fahrenman, Prek. You'll see. I think that maybe there's my picture. I don't even know. Point being, it looks like a Google search. My website. It's just a box and a search box for like a property criteria and a search button. That's it. It's basically blank, right? So when I call them, they if I'm really quick to that call, my text message hasn't gone to them. So when I call them, they have no idea who I am, right? If I'm really quick to that call within a couple of minutes, which I usually am. So the hardest part is to build rapport. Am I going to build rapport if I be like, hey, when do you want to buy? Like when are you buying? Like what are we seeing next?
Or what's our budget?
Yeah. And you can ask all of that in the first conversation.
With other type
but
of questions.
exactly.
Have you ever
Exactly.
spoke with a mortgage broker?
For sure. So you need to build trust. You need to build rapport. This person on the other side has no reason to trust you. They're most likely not going to fully trust you. They might, but most likely aren't going to trust you at least after the first few interactions. So your job is to win their trust by providing value, giving them what they're looking for, not what they ask you specifically, but what they might need. So digging into what is it that's got you interested? What is it that's got you curious about the market? How long have you been looking for, right? Is this a new thing for you? Whereabouts in the process are you? These calibrating questions that we've talked about before, and they're again straight from scripts. You don't have to think this through at all. You just follow the scripts, and it will just happen, right? It will just come to you. And then offering value, we talked about this. What is it that's got you interested in the market? Yeah, I'm just browsing to see prices. Oh, great. Which areas were you looking into? Which neighborhoods were you interested in? What types of properties were you interested in? Would it help you if I sent you a list of those properties that recently sold in that neighborhood? Sure, that wouldn't hurt. Great. Now, you can segue that. Again, this gets into role play practice. I won't get into it right now, but we can. I'll be happy to next time, or in role play sessions. But what is it that's got you interested in the market? Which areas are you interested in? If you had a magic wand, when would you make your move happen? Or before that, if you want to ask to see again to see where they're at, is this something you're looking for yourself and your family, or is it an investment that you're after? And then you could channel the conversation through that, because those are two very different use cases, very different target audiences, right? Different requirements. And the whole point is to understand what they're looking for so that we can cater to them as good salespeople, as good sales agents, as good realtors, and then that will build trust. If this person thinks that I'm just on the appointment trying to get a quick thing, they're never going to give me their business.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
If you like noticed during the first call that the person's just browsing, not ready yet.
Yep.
Never had any type of conversation with a mortgage professional, just baby steps.
Yeah.
Right. Would you try to book like a Zoom call or a coffee, or would you start sending properties? What would you do? Like be the one and build the rapport? Yes,
Leo, thank you for that question. So Leo's question, if anyone missed it, is if someone is in the exploration phase, basically, and you identify them as someone who's exploring right now, do you try to book them into a meeting with you to build rapport? My answer to that, Leo, everything else that I answer, is it depends on what they need. If you identify that as a need, then go ahead and suggest a meeting. How do you identify that as a need? By asking them if that would be helpful to them, right? Simple as that. Would it be, I talked to someone, a first-time home buyer yesterday, and I asked him, is at the end of the conversation, after I talked about all his requirements and everything, I asked him, is this blah, blah, blah? Is this your first time buying a home, or have you gone through this process before? And he said, no, actually, it is my first time. And he seemed a little too proud to say it. Like he almost didn't want to share with me that he's never bought a home. But I said, oh, that's totally okay. I help 15 to 20 first-time home buyers at least every year. And I've got it down to a science, very easy steps. Would it be helpful for me to set up a time to go through the process? He said, no, you know what? Actually, I'm okay for now. I'm going to browse for a little bit. And fair enough. He didn't see the value in that. I'm not going to kill myself to get that appointment with him. What I want is to build rapport. And if I push him on things that he doesn't want to do, he's gonna go a different way, right? And nobody likes to be pushed. No one likes to be sold. People like to do things. They like to be the decision makers. So we ask them questions to help them make that decision. A different lead spoke 2 days ago. I've been nurturing them for at least a year now, probably more, but at least a year. And same question I asked her, would you find it helpful to sit down together? It could be a Zoom call or over a coffee to go through all the different options you have, different scenarios, so that you can pick the right path for you. Yeah, sure. Let me talk to my husband. And then I asked, okay, well, I have such and such times and days available. Which one works for you? Talk to her husband, set the appointment. Okay. Easy as that. So is there a need for what you're offering them? Ask that up front. If there is a need, then present it. But you pick up on the cues though, right? If someone's the first time home buyer, it's more likely that they need a primer. It's more likely that they need that coffee meeting, maybe, right? Will I push for it? By no means. I'd rather not sit down with someone over just a coffee, just to set up showings later. I'd prefer to go to showings and then before or after that, go through the process with them, right? It's more efficient. It actually builds rapport more effectively.
If this person ever had a meeting with a mortgage broker before, would you send a contact to a mortgage broker before you have the first meeting by Zoom or in
Yeah,
person?
you can guess my answer to that. Is there a need for it?
Got it.
So you mentioned, you're looking up to $800,000. Have you already lined up your finances, or would this be a cash purchase? Have you lined up financing, or would this be a cash purchase? No, I haven't done that yet. I'm looking to find something first. Okay. Would you find it helpful to talk to someone to make sure that $800,000 is realistic? It will save you a lot of time and headache in the future, right? Ask that question. If they don't want to do it, then you can also make decisions, right? Do you want to work with someone who's strictly against looking into their financing before they start their search? Do you want to do that? Then do it. Do I want to do that? Sometimes, maybe. I've worked with people that didn't have their financing together. I pre-qualified them on the phone myself. I think, well, it's really easy. And we've gone through this through role play so many times. Axel, are we okay with time? Yeah, okay, good. You know what? I could probably help you with that really quickly before you talk to someone. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. We'll get to it.
I think at this time, if there's, I know there's so many of your slides are still remaining to go through.
Actually, we're almost done with the slides.
Okay,
yeah.
so why don't we just go through the slides and then we jump into Q&A with
sure.
with Ashton
Sure,
as
let's
well.
do
So
that.
Ashton, be patient with
Let's
us.
do that. Let's do that. Yes, Ashton, thank you for the incoming questions. That's very helpful. Yeah, there's so much to talk about, folks. There's so much to talk about. But the first step, the biggest step that you could take, if you haven't already done this, or if you're shying away from it, is to get on that phone and make the frickin' call. Get on the phone, make the call. 10 of them will be a flop. That's fine. 100 of them will be a flop. That's fine. Guess what? 3 months from now, you will have business. You'll have a full pipeline. It doesn't come easy. There are no shortcuts. When I started doing online leads for the first 3 months, I got nothing. I had one lead. I was working with them. I was taking them on showings. They weren't pulling the trigger. The agent that I was working with got discouraged. Said, "Sohail, listen, 3 months you haven't converted any. I don't want to take your money. I don't want to like this is not okay. Maybe you should also explore other sources of business, but I don't want to take your money and keep going with this because you haven't been able to convert." I'm like, okay, fair enough. Guess what? The lead that I was working on, they actually decided to move they actually decided to buy within their building. They found someone, they decided to buy private. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But they were such sweet, ethical people that they said, "Sohail, we feel really bad. You've been working for us really hard for the past 2 months. We want you to sell our home for us." And I didn't even have to list the home. A realtor approached me. A buyer paid way over what they even wanted, like $50,000 on a $700,000 place, paid $50,000 over what my clients wanted. And that was it. It was a slam dunk basically in that way. But it took months of work, right? And I wasn't discouraged. I was working full time and in a leadership position with a lot of responsibility. I was skipping my lunch hour. I was skipping my lunch and socializing with colleagues. 12 to 1 o'clock every day, I was spending calling my leads, right? And it took commitment. It took some blind faith and commitment, and it worked out. So back to the slides again. I could share these slides with whomever. There's no rocket science here, right? Focus on helping and selling. I'll just use this slide to wrap it up, actually. Focus on helping and not selling. We, as salespeople, our job is to understand the needs and cater to it. Understand the market, the audience, and cater to their needs. If you can do that, they will trust you, they'll work with you, they'll refer you to people. Life will be beautiful. It will feel almost too easy, honestly. Even in this market, it will feel almost too easy. Identifying their pain points, identifying what their need is, what kind of timelines they're trying to achieve. If they've started exploring, are you going to push them to go see a bunch of places right now? Or are you going to say, hey, it sounds like you're exploring. How about I'll set up a broad search for you and I'll call you tomorrow to see what you think of those so that we can refine it from there. You know what? I'm going to be in business for the next 30 years. I'll be happy to help you now or 6 months from now or 6 years from now. What's important is that we find you exactly what you're looking for. Okay? These are exact lines that I use. That's why, again, it rolls off my tongue. These are exact lines that I use in client engagements. And asking some personal questions. What was it about this specific? I noticed that you added such and such to your favorites. I know you're probably 6 months from your move, but I was wondering, what was it about that specific property that you liked, right? Why is it that you added that specific property to your favorites? Getting familiar, showing that you truly care, right? And it's not going to be easy every time. You might get a client converted in a week, or it might take 6 months. It might take 18 months. Just being there for them and caring and knowing that you're in this for the long term. Relationships over time. That's what we've been talking about. It's been a theme of this whole conversation. It's caring for people, catering to their needs, building those relationships, strictly professional relationships. I don't build personal relationships with any of my clients. That's maybe too generic. I try not to. Even if I have a personal relationship with them, I'm strictly professional with them when we're talking business. Because when time comes to have those hard conversations, if you have any emotions involved, you're going to really be hurting, right? And anyone who's dealt with friends and family is going to know this. You have to put yourself aside for them. And the only real way to do that is not having emotions attached to what you're doing. Being consistent, continue following up, have blind faith that this will work. Obviously, don't just call everyone and be like, oh, okay, you're just browsing. All right, bye. Right? You gotta practice. Okay, you're browsing. What are you browsing for? Get to the script. Go down the script. Ask them every questions. But being consistent with that and saying the right thing in the right way is gonna get you results. Review your CRM, tag old leads, and follow up with them. Start making that call. I'm always about taking action. Every time I feel down, every time I feel like my pipeline's drying up, the one thing that relieves my mind is knowing that I can sit down behind my desk and make phone calls. And within 2 weeks, my pipelines will be filled back up. And that's how we could operate. Okay, with that.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When I make my call to find clients, if they ask me how long I've been working in real estate, and I have to say that I'm new.
Mm-hmm.
So what should I say so that they trust me or stay interested and do not get discouraged?
How long have you been in business?
6 months?
6 months now? Have you done
I'm
any
very new.
transactions within those months?
No, not
Okay.
yet.
Okay. Everyone's had to start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are different things you could do. There was a time when I just met John Sai 5-6 years ago, and I'd done very few transactions. John would tell me, Sohail, rely on my data. Say that we've done this many transactions because you're within my group, right? What I can share with you though, Ellie, is that when you that transaction that I did with the people, my first online lead that took 3 months, that was one of my first ever it was like maybe my 6th or 7th transaction. but the rest of them were all family deals, right? So it was really my first real stranger client, right? I can guarantee you that it never even came up. Why? Because they didn't even think to ask me that, because I presented myself as a professional. I cared for them. I helped them. It didn't even occur to them that this person might be totally new at what he's doing. And let's say you get one of those and they don't trust you. You move on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
I think as someone who's just started, that's more in your head than a reality.
Yes.
So just if you can get past it and know that it's irrelevant because you're the best at what you're doing, you might be new, but you're the best new person out there, right? You're the best person to help them because you care for them. Okay.
Exactly.
But there's, and then again, if you're a part of a team, you can rely on that, right? We have a team of 60 agents. We do $300 million in transactions per year. We did 312 transactions last year. Yeah. But chances are you'll never have to have this conversation. Yeah. Very rarely do I get asked, how long have you been in business? Yeah. Very rarely. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course.
Ashton?
All right.
Sure. What's happening?
Yes, thank you. Do you sign any contract or insist on signing any contract when you meet them, or?
There was a time when I did. I can share with you that I don't. I even talk to my clients. I'm not saying this is a good thing, by the way. I'm not bragging about it in any way. I think it would be better if you do sign contracts. But I have an ethical contract with my clients, and I feel empowered to know that if a client is doing me wrong, I will cut them off. Or if a lead is doing me wrong, if they're doing me dirty, I will cut them off. So that's my contract with them. But I have to this date not signed any buyer exclusive contracts in my career. Again, it would be great if you did, but I've never done that. I've had that conversation with a lot of people that, hey, I'd love to be able to help you. And you've seen what I've done for you in the past month and how I work. I can only commit to this going forward if I know that I'm the only one that has your business. If you're happy with someone else, then that's okay, totally okay. Just let me know so that we don't engage in this conversation any further. I've literally said that to people because especially online leads, a lot of times they're shopping around, right? And there have been times when they became my client, and there have been times when they said, oh, you know what, actually, no, we're gonna, there's someone else we're gonna work with. That's totally fine. And move on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get a buyer agreement signed, get it signed. Right? I'm all for presenting value, and if people see that value, they will be loyal to me. And those are the clients that have come to me repeatedly. I've never had to sign any contract with them exclusively. Okay.
Can I throw you an objection?
Yes, please. Yeah. Oh yeah, microphone. Okay, Michael's about to throw me an objection. I'm curious what this is going to be about.
So I actually, it's from yesterday. I just remembered now. So I talked to an online lead. She said, "Oh, yeah, I've been working with a couple of realtors."
Okay.
Okay. So she said, "Oh, yeah. Do you want to? Can you do a 35% kickback?"
Yeah.
How would you reply to that?
Can you do a 35% kickback, Michael? Are you okay to do a 35% kickback?
I said, unfortunately, I can't. But I wanted to hear
Sure.
how you handle this.
I've come across it at least twice in the past few months. One of them, I was on vacation. I ended up actually giving a kickback because I was in London. I'm the phone. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. I had the deal. I didn't even have to give a kickback, to be honest with you. But this has now become someone who's given me her sister as a referral, sister buying for a mother. So whatever, it worked out. It made me feel like garbage. I hated doing it. But there are two things. One is whether as a business owner, you're okay to give that discount. And if you're giving that, what are you getting in return, right? If you're okay with it, then you could say, you know what, that's something we could consider. That's something we can talk about. What's more important to me, though, is to make sure you find the right property, okay? But if you were to object to it, which 99% of the time I would, because I don't like getting that kind of business. Those people end up being the hardest clients to deal with as well, is go through the numbers with them. That's one of the ways you could do it. So let's say, Michael, it sounds like you want to make sure you get the best deal and keep the most amount of money in your pocket. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is that reasonable? Michael, you're looking at a $1 million transaction, right?
Yeah, she wasn't so.
No, you're looking at a $1 million purchase, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my commission, Michael, on a $1 million purchase, the 35% of my commission on a $1 million purchase is going to be $5,000 or so, right? $5,000 and change. Michael, I won't be able to give you a kickback, but what I can guarantee you is that on a $1 million transaction, I could easily save you $20,000 to $25,000 more than most other realtors. Now, if you could save $25,000 or go with a less capable realtor and save $5,000, which way would you go? Which one would you pick, right? Because $5,000, Michael, on a $1 million deal is nothing. It's 0.5%. We're talking 0.5%. I could easily save you $25,000, $30,000, $20,000, $25,000, right?
Yeah, that's a great
So,
answer.
and then if they push further, Michael, the realtor that's giving you this kickback, have they been in business for a long time? You know what? I don't know. Well, Michael, what I could share with you is that either they haven't been in business for a very long time and they're super desperate to get their first deal going, or maybe they're just really hurting. In any case, they're very desperate to get a client and get a deal. Would you like to work with someone that is desperate just for your business because they're unable to get business any other way? Or would you like to work with a realtor that is the best at what they do and can negotiate on your behalf? Right?
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah. And then if they're tied to that, there's certain demographics that are more into that. And I don't want to bring that up, but there's
He was Chinese.
okay. Yeah, there's certain demographics. There's certain demographics. They're really like into that. That's how they make their decision, and that's okay. You don't have to work with everyone.
Of course.
Yeah. But I've worked with a lot of Chinese clients that saw the value and they're super loyal.
Yeah, not every Chinese speaks when I
Yeah,
ask.
super loyal
Absolutely.
people, right? So it's no, you disclose it, you give a kickback. Yeah. I had a client of mine there.
You can explain it.
Yeah, I had one client. They said I've helped the whole family. I've known the family for like 3-4 years. Their son wanted to buy a place. He had already found the place he wanted to buy. I did zero for finding this place, and called me out of the blue. So hell, like my son wants to write an offer on this place. It's $2.6 million house. Can you help him? I'm like, sure, I can get you the best price possible on it, and negotiate a little bit. But got down to, you know what? When someone gives me a referral, I do a 10% kickback. I do a 10% referral fee. So how about this? How about I'll give you a 10% break on the price, on the commission, and I'll make sure you get the best price possible. And I wrote the deal. Like I did zero work for getting that deal actually, like other than, I mean, the lead up to it with the family for, nurturing them for many, many years. But it's a business decision. Yeah. If the numbers
All right.
are justified.
We're getting out of time, so we need to shut it down right at 12:30. Ladies and gentlemen, what a session. There's so much question that we can ask this guy standing right there for his success in online leads and conversion of it. It's not only of how to generate those leads, it's to convert them. That's what we were in it for. So come up with more questions. We're going to have him next week as well. Write down your question. Come ready this time for next session. Is going to be more enhanced, deep right into the online lead conversion mastery with Mr. Sohail Farahmand.
Thank you, Axel.
Any last insights, Sohail, before we just close this
Well,
right away?
No, it's just again going back to take action. Like there's no better way to learn how to do anything than actually just get your hands dirty, get right into it, take action, and don't be afraid. Know that even though I'm doing this every day and I have been for the 5 years, there are days when I start calling with hesitation. There are days when I pick up the phone and I feel like I'm not ready and the call doesn't go well. And that is okay, right? It's a numbers game. Hit 100 leads and you'll likely transact with 1 to 3 of them. Okay? And next session, I'm going to try to I always try to cut the slides short, but then I end up talking so much over them anyway. So I'm gonna try to cut it even shorter and then do more questions and answers. Yeah? Feel like that might be
Absolutely,
better.
sir. Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're looking forward to it. I can't wait. So thank you so much for putting the time with us. Really appreciate everybody to be here. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy your day. Take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Friday. Have a good
Thank
one.
you all.